What up? What up?
Ooh, we're back, baby. We're back with a raggedy aesthetic and look a little ghetto. We apologize.
No, man,
we'll be back to normal next week.
People don't know, man.
This is true.
We might be somewhere in somebody's basement.
It looks like we're being interrogated in somebody's basement. Like we're being held captive by the powers that be.
Send the National Guard. Yo, man, let's get it on. Welcome back, everybody, to the Carbon Footprint Podcast. He's Juan and I'm Sean, and every week we get together, have a few drinks, talk about things going on in the world, try to focus on things making an impact, whether they be good, bad, or otherwise. Hit them with a drink of the day.
Ooh,
y'all can see this here. Oof. Let's go.
It's so good.
Anything red is good, bro.
It's dangerous. Yeah, anything red. You're right, man. Anything red, it comes out like purplish. It's fire. Dude, I got inspired by like a local restaurant here that did a variation of this, and so I wanted to do like my own take of it.
Yeah.
And not to toot my own horn, but I like my version better. But this is we're gonna call it a blackberry mezcal Rita. It's basically a mezcal margarita. So we did. It sounds complex, but it's really not that bad. Took about 4 or 5 blackberries, about 3 to 4 mint leaves, muddle that in a shaker. Throw in some ice, throw in ½ ounce of agave, ½ ounce of blackberry liqueur, 2 ounces of the mezcal, and an ounce of lime juice. Shake that up, pour it in a rocks glass that has been rimmed with sugar, not salt, sugar. And then that's it. Garnish with a blackberry and a mint and a clapped mint to get those scents out, man.
Yeah, and it is fucking good, but
so good.
It's a lot of sugar. There's a lot of sugar in this.
So much sugar.
There's a lot of sugar, so. I'm definitely like I always cap mine at 3. But yeah, I can see this one.
If you're diabetic and you're starting to get a low,
hit it.
Have one of these. Get a little buzz, you know.
Hit it.
You know, get away from your family for a little bit, or be able to cope with them better, and you solve your sugar issue all in one go. That's not official advice because I'm not a doctor, but I feel like it's solid.
It sounds good.
It sounds legit, right? All right.
So for those of y'all who normally watch like the YouTube videos and stuff, man, this is different for us, man. Because normally we're kind of like, I'm kind of always focused on you and on the topics and whatever. And now we're kind of trying to do a little something where we are focusing more on the camera. I don't know if this is going to work good or not, or if y'all going to like it or not.
Or just go back to look at
I'm going to like it or not, right?
Yeah, right, yeah.
I might just have to start ignoring y'all and look
and go back, way. I feel like the idea is like it's hopefully feels like more of a natural hang where we're like, which is like what we do when we shoot the shit. It's funny, you were saying we had been doing this we didn't do video the last couple of weeks, but we've been doing it on a kitchen island. And it felt
really
it felt
good,
like our
man.
normal, like when we come over and we just like, let's have a drink and shoot the shit or watch a fight. It's like what we do. And it felt like that. We might go back to just
might go back to the counter,
island, man. Like, yeah.
You know what you should do, man? Just put a fucking hidden camera in your kitchen, right? Point it there, and then let it go.
We could just let it ride. and then I forgot to turn the camera's video thing towards me, so now I can't see what I can see on the camera. So
that's probably better.
We're doing this blindly. Yeah, I don't like looking at me.
It's probably better that way.
It's fine.
All right, man. Let's hit it. Carbon Footprint of the week.
Yeah, we got
is going out to Mr. Trump. And
is he officially the most carbon footprinted person on earth? Yo, Trump, hit us up, man. There's an award or something. Listen, you have notorious on this podcast at this point in time.
So as of late, I don't know what the date was, man, but he deployed the National Guard to Washington, D.C. to deal with crime.
Okay.
So I'm going to read off some stuff here. So it's like he invoked as a Section 740 of the D.C. Home Rule Act to transfer control of the Metropolitan Police Department from the local authorities to the federal government.
Okay.
So he mobilized the D.C. National Guard as well as federal law enforcement agencies and guard units from other states, citing a crime emergency.
And what was his reasoning, I guess, for that? Like, what was the...
I guess the crime rate was high.
I guess DC's crime rate's always been high. Why not do that in every other city? Well, I guess it's the nation's capital, so the idea is to clean up the nation's capital.
I'm glad you said that. Because apparently, at least he believes that it's been working really well, and he's now going, hey, you know, Southside Chicago is really bad. Maybe we should be doing the same thing over there. Hey, parts of California, maybe parts of LA are really bad. Like maybe we should be doing it there. So he's kind of toying around with this idea of going, yo, this could work in other places as well. Now, there was when I first heard it, like I go, yo, I don't know how I would feel if I lived there. Like, there's a part of me that goes,
Yeah, like militarizing our police force or our cities. I don't. Yeah,
right.
Okay.
Like instead of seeing normal cops walking around, now maybe I'm seeing guys with rifles, right? Like,
Okay. Yeah.
like maybe dressed differently, maybe they're in
Right.
military fatigues or what have you.
Well, it
Again,
feels
I
like you're in
haven't
a
seen
war
it.
zone if you're seeing some
Right.
soldiers, basically.
But if you live in if you live in a city that has a high crime rate,
Yeah.
am I feeling better? You know what I mean?
I think it depends on where in that city you live.
Like if you can go out, if you are going, hey, you know what? Like every day I got to make this commute from A to B, and I got to go to some sketchy areas, and then now you have the military presence, and you're going, yo, now I'm not really scared because there's a dude with an M16 on a corner,
Yeah.
ready to jump into action.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's.
And there's probably an upside to that. Again,
Sure,
I think it's
yeah.
depending on the perspective. Now, I also go, yo, if you have high crime, is the solution like more police, or in this case, more, or in
presence or more
presence,
aggressive looking presence. I don't know what to call it.
Right.
Like, I guess what's the Stonewall argument for this? I guess let's make the opposite. Like, because I know the initial reaction online from people you'll see is like, oh, now you're militarizing our police,
Correct.
or you're militarizing our cities, and you're going to turn the military against citizens, yada yada yada. Like, right, that's the fear of like, if I give you a finger, you're going to take the hand. You take the hand, you're going to take the arm. Like whatever. I understand the sort of nervousness behind how far is too far. But to your point, it's like, I don't know, what's the difference between these guys in the local police force or a SWAT or, I don't know. Because optics do matter, right? If you walk around, to your point, if you walk around an area that's normally sketchy and you feel unsafe, and now suddenly there are armed military personnel in that area, you're probably going to feel a lot better, right?
If you were sort of fearful,
Yeah.
in the past, maybe you're not so much anymore.
But if you're someone who's just minding your business, does this make you fearful? Because you're like, shit, why do we need this? Like you're someone who before was like, yeah, I'm kind of fine.
Like, it's fine.
It's fine. Like it's fine. Now I'm nervous. And then the question is, does your nervousness deserve to be weighted when it comes to, hey, there was 150 murders in this city last year. We're trying to dump that now. You feeling nervous is just, oh well, I gotta save 130 lives.
Listen,
Like I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of went a couple different ways on this, man. So there was the part of me that go, oh, like if I'm scared, let's just say maybe if I'm new to the city, right? And if I've been like, oh, there's a lot of, if I've been really worried about the crime,
Yeah.
maybe I'm looking at this as a positive. But if I was born and raised there and this is kind of normal, maybe now I'm nervous that now I got guys with M16 walking around outside and they might profile me. And I might, I'm right. Something might pop off.
If you're
where I'm
someone
getting.
who's a
Suspect.
Not even suspect, but
not that. But I mean, like,
no. But if you're a disenfranchised group who already feels
Right,
sort of left
exactly.
behind, and now you're feeling like, oh, this is just another thing that's meant to
Correct.
keep me at bay. Even if you're not
Right.
committing crime, I think the idea is that now you feel like an animal in a cage.
Right.
I guess, for lack of a better term, especially if you live in a shitty neighborhood, because that's where they're going to be, right? But if you live in a shitty neighborhood because you're low income, not because you're someone committing crime, it's just what you can afford. Like, yeah, there's an element to that where you go, oh, I feel better because maybe my shitty neighborhood is now safer.
Say right.
Or do I just go, well, damn, now you're all just hanging out in my shitty neighborhood and it feels like you're targeting some of us? Because, like, the same way we have complaints about profiling with regular police, like, does now this apply to, like,
Of course.
military personnel? Right? It just takes that.
And of course it would. I also go, yo, this can't be the long-term solution to that. You can't just keep throwing people in jail to stop crimes. Like that doesn't do it. Like, you gotta invest. You gotta over time. You need to invest in like education and training. Like job training, child care, maybe some mental health, things like that, to really get people to start to kind of switch their mindsets. Like, last week we talked about the whole Osceola Prosper thing that's going on here.
Yeah.
And we also talked about, like, it'd be very interesting to, for those of you not listening, Osceola Prosper is something that they're doing here in Osceola County, here in Florida, where they're taking high school students and they are paying for them to go and get either a trade like a plumber or electrician, or they're paying for them to go to the local college to get their associate's degree. Yeah. So it's paid for by the county.
Yeah, you're reinvesting in your community, the education in your community.
And we talked about, it's going to be super interesting to look back at that, say 10, 15 years from now and see how Osceola County has changed because of that. Maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't. Right.
But my guess is that if you pump out educated people, something will change.
Sure, it has to, right? Yeah. I think the reality of a lot of these situations is that people are either lack of or an abundance of opportunity is what ultimately sort of like molds your society or your community or your neighborhood or what, like shitty neighborhoods, as we like to call them, are because of a lack of opportunity and a lack of it. And that becomes from a lack of it, many factors, right? But at the end of the day, it's like somebody who goes to drug dealing is, their first inclination wasn't, I'm gonna go drug dealing. Their thing is like, I want to make a lot of money. I want, and I don't really have many opportunities because I live in this neighborhood.
Yep.
And maybe the quickest way and the smartest way and the way I know how is through doing this, right? Because it's what's accessible to me. It's the opportunity that is available to me, good or bad, right? Depending on what you look at it. And so, and then you see neighborhoods that are like abundant in opportunity. And then you have people who create their own opportunities, right? Like there's like a myriad of I think the gamut sort of like runs wide, right? And sometimes where you come from doesn't have to necessarily define you, but statistically speaking, it's what happens, right? So it's funny because I don't know what the answer is. Like the optics, I tend to go with like optics do matter, and so like and then the part of like where does it end, and then also. Then why not invest that money into the local police force and then militarize them if you have to, right? Like, do I need the National Guard? Can I just go give all this equipment and the training and all that stuff to the local police department and then just like beef them up and beef up their presence or invest in more of them or whatever it is? And because you go, does it matter if I have a guy sitting on a corner with an AK who's wearing a military uniform or if I have the same amount and it's a police presence, local police presence, right? Does it have the same effect? From a safety perspective, right? Not from a, like I guess from scaring citizens or whatever, but from like to your point before, like if you're walking down the street and there's a cop on the street, like you feel better, right? Like we live, like, you ever live in a neighborhood and one of your neighbors is a cop and the cop car's out there and you're like, that makes you feel a little better, right? Like because you go,
depending on who you are.
Depending on who you are, right? You're like, that makes you feel a little better, right? Or you go, shit, I don't like this guy's right by there, right? But it affects you in either way. Like, should you just take that money and then reinvest it into the local police force and then programs like you were saying to actually contribute to your community? Because I think, and I don't want to get too far out because we're going to get there eventually. I have like a similar sort of thought this week, and I'm glad you brought this up, was with the whole mass shooting that happened today.
Okay.
Like we're recording this on a Wednesday. A lot of you guys will see the mass shooting that happened at a Catholic school.
I didn't see this. So
we'll get into it in a second. But I have the same sort of like, we always tackle the gun issue, right? Or the hot button when it's become like mental health lately, right? Or whatever it is. And I just started thinking of like, okay, well, man, there's all these other reasons why these things happen that we either don't understand yet enough of, or we do understand and don't do anything about them. But it's similar. It's like, where do you invest into your community and into your people to sort of prevent these things? I don't know, man. I don't know. And it like, didn't we see something similar? Was it like Seattle that got they went the opposite direction where like citizens created their own armies or militias and stuff?
Oh,
a few years back, you remember this?
Yeah,
like,
wasn't that through like the whole BLM shit? Wasn't it around that time?
Yeah, and what happens if your citizens revolt? I guess is the other, like you'll see sometimes where like there's a protest and people have like riots and then there's like tear gas and whatever from like local police. What happens if the National Guard is there and there's a fucking tank and there, I don't.
Right.
And I hate to be I'm using like the worst.
No,
case
but it's part of the thing of where you go like, citizens can own guns.
Yeah.
But like your pistol is nothing against a tank.
No, that's always been my argument for the whole people who are like, I have to protect myself against the government. It's like, bro, the guys with the drones and the missiles are not losing. You know what I mean? Like it's just, I don't care how many of your citizens have pistols and handguns.
Yeah, drop one
I mean,
bomb.
and
drop
rifles.
one bomb.
They drop one bomb, your whole neighborhood's out. Like, it's just, I'm not.
You'd be like, wait a minute, I ain't got internet?
The argument is not valid. And I don't want, and I'm not trying to turn this into an anti-gun argument. I'm turning this into like the reasons that were the reasons at some point in time are no longer viable reasons. Like, we have to find new reasons for this, not to say that they weren't important, but it's like, who is it that has the joke? It's like Joe Rogan. I think it's Joe Rogan. I'm pretty sure that he has the joke of like, if one of the people who wrote the Constitution came back now and realized that we hadn't changed anything, would be like, you motherfuckers didn't change nothing. I wrote that with a feather. You know what I'm saying? like, because we always like to go back to what our Constitution calls for, and it's like the only time, I guess, other than like biblical folk, like that will reference a document that's like, super old, that was created at a different time and place, and where society was very different, and we'll just go, oh, it can't change it because this document says that's what we do. It's right. Like really bizarre, but it's like, yeah, that document worked at the point in time that it was written, and not to say that all of it's bad, right? Like there's a sort of like a structure and a framework there that should lay sort of like your culture as a country and your and sort of like what guides you, but that's not, that has to evolve over time. How you get there, right, has to evolve over time.
But no, man, I think with this, I think it's obviously it's an unprecedented move. By a president. I think it kind of feeds into the whole, like, people that don't like Trump, it's kind of one more thing for them to not like about him, right? Because they feel like it's like he's going the way of almost like a dictator. Type thing. I don't know if that's his intent. But I really feel like, make investments in the community that aren't gonna pay dividends right away.
Right? Like we were saying last week, you have to be unselfish as a community leader, as a policy maker.
You have to just put things into place in the communities that it's not gonna take it's gonna be 10, 15 years down the line. But that'll make things better. I think that things, like I said, things like education and job training, and maybe mental health stuff, maybe childcare, like things like that could actually help families. Do that shit, man. And if you want to, along the line, increase your police force, like, because you have to deal with increased crime rates, like, do that too. Right. But don't do that and then not the other stuff.
Right. It's like you're not solving the source of the problem. Right. It's like you're treating the symptom, but you're not. What is it? Maybe I'm thinking that backwards. Like, you get sick, and it's like I give you cough medicine. It's like I'm just helping your symptoms be relieved, but I'm not actually curing the underlying cause. It's like you can't just treat the symptom and not figure out the underlying cause. I couldn't agree more with that, man. And Dude, I feel like we've turned into a fucking political show lately because I feel like a lot of the discourse, it's always been that way, but it's been more so lately because emotions are high. And I'm in this place where it's like, I don't want to be dismissive of it and say I don't care or it doesn't matter, but like in a lot of ways, it's how I feel. It's like, on one breath, I guess we can't sit here and say like, hey, there's a deep state that actually runs shit and none of these guys matter and blah, 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 blah. And then also go, Trump is a dictator and this is where the country's going, because in reality, then we have to believe that he really doesn't have, like, he has as much power as the deep state, quote unquote, right? Or the permanent government lets him have, right? And so, like, a lot of me, and again, maybe call this naivety, call this like, maybe it's the I guess the perk that comes with being an American that grew up at this point in time. And so there's an entitlement that I've grown up with as an American that, like, that'll never happen, right? There's an arrogance that we have of, like, when people say, like, something's going to turn into a dictator, it'll never happen. And I don't want to sound dismissive of it, but a lot of me believes now, it's like, dude, we're having all this political discourse and we're arguing online and we're doing all that stuff. And at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. Like, none of this stuff is ever really going to make a permanent change. Like, Trump's going to be gone in, 3 years from now. It's not going to matter. Policy changes. deep state's only going to let him go so far. He's going this far because almost it's a distraction, because now you're seeing like the discourse goes back to like trans people suck and all this other stuff I got online. And anytime I see something like that, I'm like, oh boy, what's happening? Because like, obviously you're trying to take our, it's the magician's game. Like, look over here, right? Don't see me kind of switching out your card over here. It's like, and so to me, a lot of like politics now is there is really not a whole lot that matters. But the problem is that lately, the worst case scenario, it's kind of like, how you have a conspiracy theorist friend and like every once in a while they're right about the one thing. And so now because they're right about the one thing, it validates everything. And no matter how crazy, and now you're like, well, fuck, now I got to listen to you and take you serious. And now you are going to shut up because your one thing came true, right?
Right.
And I feel like that's what's happened with the policy, and especially the current administration is like, Roe v. Wade gets overturned, and then like people are like, you see? Fucking coming for all of it, right? And then like the other part of me goes like, yo, at the end of the day, like it's not that our rights don't matter, but none of shit really matters, and we're gonna be back to arguing about a different call later on, or we're gonna forget about everything that just happened now, and no one's gonna remember there was a military in DC, and no one's gonna remember that like we deported all these people, and no one's gonna remember other than the people obviously that it affected. But I mean, just as a society in general, like we're just gonna shift our thought and our energy to something else, is whatever takes up our mind that day and whatever we're outraged about that day. And then in reality, our freedoms won't be affected as much, right? They'll be affected in the sense of like emotionally, right? But in reality, like you wake up every day, we're all going to be doing the same shit. And we're all going to be able to do the same shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'll be honest, right? Like our lives haven't changed.
No, none. All this change is like the people online arguing. Right. And then, but in reality, like a lot of the shit hasn't mattered. Like, yeah, man, I look at the stuff with immigrants and it's heartbreaking. Like I look at, like that kind of thing. And especially like to me, it's the stuff with the immigrants that was like, okay, you said criminals, like we were cool with that, but now you're coming for fucking, like hardworking people. Right, and now you're rating like, so whatever. Like again, and I don't want to get too political, but it's like that stuff. Like, yeah, it's sad. I'm not saying it doesn't matter and people's lives aren't affected, but I guess I just always go back to like, yeah, we're gonna be fine. This is just the shit that's gonna distract us this week, and next week it's gonna be something else. And it's like I don't want to say I don't care, but it's like I don't care because like at the end of the day, none of our lives have changed much, unless right you are like an immigrant, right, or unless you are somebody who's deported, unless you're a woman who Roe v. Wade affected immediately, unless you're someone in Washington D.C. Like I get, and then the argument would be, well, you're just not them now, and eventually they're coming for one of your rights. But I think groups are just affected all the time, and it just goes into this like musical chairs of like this group's affected now, and then just move on to this group, and I think that's just a never-ending cycle that's always going to occur. Yeah. No matter, I don't. Maybe that was a fucking overcomplicated way to say like it doesn't matter. Like, like none of this shit matters. We're all gonna be fine, and it'll be.
Well, let me tell you what does matter.
Yeah.
At least to some.
Yeah.
Cracker Barrel's logo.
Bro, so what the fuck happened? Because so I saw that they changed it, and like truth be told, I'm not believe it or not, I'm not an avid Cracker Barrel consumer.
What do you mean?
So actually, I lie.
Their breakfast is on point.
I will say this: a couple of years back, with some coworkers of mine, we started doing this. Like Christmas is weird to like get people gifts that you work with, but like there's certain people that you work with all the time. You just kind of get close and like you just buy each other shit, whatever. Yeah. Like for Christmas, and it might be a bottle of liquor or whatever, right? And so one year, like we're like, oh, how do we make this fun? And what we decided was, hey, you have to get. We're gonna gift it, and it was like 3 or 4 of us. It's like we're gonna do a gift exchange, but it has to come from Cracker Barrel. And then it was like a limit. It was like, hey, you got $20 or $30, and the gifts have to come from Cracker Barrel. And it was fucking hilarious. Because then funny. You go to a Cracker Barrel store, you buy each other stuff. Like, so it was great. So I shouldn't say that. But I didn't read all the stories, but I saw that Cracker Barrel changed its logo for like 24 hours. And then the internet went fucking ballistic. It went crazy. I'm being, like, obviously fucking super extreme there, but it felt like it was a day. And then they just changed it. So what the fuck happened?
All right, so it's Cracker Barrel. For those of you who don't know, Cracker Barrel is a chain of restaurants. I think they do breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I don't know. But they're mostly like a breakfast.
Yeah, but it's mostly a breakfast. Yeah.
At least the way that I view them.
People in the Northeast are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. Is that a racist term? It's not a racist term for short white guys. That's what we call our pudgy white boys.
Well, I guess to sort of like to maybe to change with the times and maybe reach more people. It was basically a marketing ploy. So the logo for Cracker Barrel was it's like sort of a sign that says Cracker Barrel, and then next to it is a barrel and a white guy, and an old white guy. So it's a cracker barrel, right? Like that's so they removed.
It's kind of fucking wild.
Yeah. And for nothing, man, cracker is. I want to say cracker is a Southern term for like a Florida. Like there's a Florida cracker. And
it's the guys. It's the Cowboys in Florida. The crack of the whip. It's named after the whole crack of the whip thing when they were cattle herders or whatever.
So it's not It's not racist.
Yeah, it is now.
But it's not racist in its like in its creation. It wasn't a Florida cracker.
It wasn't
it's not racist, right? Well, anyway, so they removed the cracker, which is the white guy, and the barrel from the fucking thing, but they left the sign that says Cracker Barrel.
Okay, so that was it. So they just moved the guy in the barrel.
They just removed the guy in the barrel.
Okay.
And
I thought it was like a barrel you stuff crackers in.
No. No. It's like
a
white guy in a fucking barrel, and like a. I
said what I said. A barrel you stick a cracker.
So that's crazy, man. So matter of fact, look, I got some notes over here on it. Let me take a look at these really quick.
You gotta. Also, it goes back to the whole political shit. We don't go finish this first. I'll finish this thought.
So under the new CEO, Julie Massino. So they launched a broader transformation, remodeling restaurants, updating menus, introducing a simplified text-only logo. The intent was to modernize, appeal to younger diners, and sustain relevance in the changing market.
Okay.
Right? But then it's just like the loyal patrons were like, whoa, what the fuck is this? This is like a woke movement by you guys. You guys removed the guy. You removed the barrel. Like, what the hell? And I think this guy has there's a name for the fucking guy, bro.
You removed the barrel.
He removed the cracker and the barrel. What the fuck? Where is this shit? And then even Donald Trump came out and like publicly criticized it, which is like, bro, shut the fuck up. Go do president shit.
It also tells me why none of this political shit matters. It's because we still care about shit like this, because that means we got nothing else
to do.
Nothing else actually affects us. So we're like, this company changed its logo. Let me be mad.
So here's the backlash, though. Cracker Barrel lost nearly $100 million in market value because their stock went down.
Okay, how much did the stock go down?
About 10%.
Okay, I was going to say, because $100 million sounds bananas, but then when you realize if it's $1 billion company, it loses 10% of market cap.
Right.
And it'll be up 5% today, and it'll be back to, you know what I mean? I don't know.
So in response to all of that, they put it back.
Fuck you, Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, they put it back. And if you are playing in the stock market and took advantage of when it was down, that shit rebounded like 8%.
Yeah, so back to normal.
So back to normal.
Yeah. Dude, I hate, because here's the thing, it's like, I don't know what those conversations were like internally, right, to change the logo. Maybe there was a like, hey, we can't have a cracker and a barrel on top of our logo. Like, it doesn't, like, it just seems weird, right? Like, I don't know what the fuck that conversation was like. But if it wasn't, right, like if you're a company now, you truly want to make this change because you think it's in the best interest of your brand, you moving forward.
Yeah.
It's like now you have to be afraid of this blowback of a very small minority. Like you said, Twitter isn't indicative of like your actual consumer base. Like you didn't even let this sort of like marinate and go, okay, what do our sales look like in store? Like, does it actually affect sales? Like the people who are like I'm never going to Cracker Barrel again.
Maybe ride this wave for a while.
Right.
And then when people go like, it's still the same place.
I hate when people sort of bend like immediately to like online pressure because social media isn't a real thing. And I mean that in a sense of like,
I know what you
people
mean.
are fake out, bro. Like the same person who's like,
it's like fake outrage.
Of course, but also it's people who aren't going to go to you anyway. Like I might be like, I'm never going to Cracker Barrel again, and I wasn't going anyway. So like, it doesn't matter. Like I might be going to Cracker Barrel once every 2 years.
Barrel, and the menu's still good, and
you're still going.
And if you're a fan, and especially because they're very like local, right? So if you go there, maybe you know the people that work there, maybe you know the servers. It's like you're not gonna stop going there because of the fucking logo.
I also hate this like people go outrage and they don't realize what they're doing to like the people who you're affecting are, to your point just now, is the local hostess, the server, the cook, the like if you don't visit Truly because corporate made a decision to change the logo for whatever reason, and they really truly could have thought that it was the best in terms of the vision of the brand, the people you're hurting the most, that CEO is going to be fine. He's going to lose his job at Cracker Barrel, but he made enough from Cracker Barrel that he's probably going to be okay, right? And he's going to land in a CEO job. But that hostess is who can sit out of work, maybe out of work for 6 months or 3 months or whatever, is going to feel. And so like we do this all the time where like we boycott these bands or we get really crazy on them. And it's almost like the most un-American thing to do, especially to an American company. Like if the discourse online is like, oh, this woke bullshit, blah, 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 blah. And it comes from the crowd that is like pro-America. It's like, hey, your little baby protest there is affecting mostly other Americans who are like
just trying to make a living.
And are just trying to make a living. And like it gets, and I hate when companies bend because then it forces everyone else to sort of fall in line.
Yeah.
And you're bending for no reason. Because I promise you, if Cracker Barrel would have just stayed the course, it probably would have been fine.
It probably would have been
Like
fine.
bro, Twitter isn't a real place, bro. Like the shit talk, like, like we call it all the time, like the Twitter fingers, like people who get ballsy online, who will talk shit, will never say shit like that to your face. The people who go online and to criticize your branding and all that stuff weren't gonna come to you anyway. And if they were, they're a very small percentage of like, hey, do you really want that consumer who was like, yeah, your logo, who isn't, I guess, intellectual enough to understand that like brands just evolve. Like as humans, we just don't like change, right? And that's part of this. Like, like people just don't like change, right? Like Pepsi changed its logo years ago. I remember people were like, I fucking hate the new logo. I don't even remember what the old Pepsi logo looked like now. Nope. Right?
If I see it, I might go like, oh, that must be it.
That must be it. Remember when Coca-Cola changed its formula and people were fucking like,
you mean they took out the Coke?
Yeah. And now we forgot, and we still drink Coke. Like it's
Put
like
the Coke back.
Just stay the course. Like the I think just stay committed. And then if like a year or two down the line, you're like, our sales are tanking, other stuff, and it's truly tied to the like rebranding, then sure, go back.
Yeah.
But I think to give in right away, I think it sets a dangerous precedent when like people behind keyboards can dictate where you go. And I know that that's a very like I guess simplified way of looking at it, because you mentioned the market cap, and that is unfortunately what drives most of these decisions are shareholder value. And I'm sure their board is like, yo, what the fuck, just change it back, like, because people are gonna panic because they're losing.
And that's money. The thing, man. I feel like it's not. I think that the people that were complaining about it maybe look at this and they went like, yes, like we made a difference, we got it back. But in reality, it was the people that you probably hate the most, right? It's the shareholders that probably don't really give a fuck about you.
It's the corporate, it's the man, it's the shit like that people
those are the ones that were like, wait a minute, we losing money?
Like you fucked the little guy.
Put that shit back.
But then you went like, let's go put the $100 million back in the pocket of the people that you hate. Like,
that's right.
Yeah.
And plus, I think what you said earlier is very true, which is you think your backlash against the CEO of a company, that person is under a contract. Even if they get fired, they're still making a ton of money getting.
I don't know what the man.
It's just like
I don't know what the comp plan
is. They're gonna be fine. So if you think that you're hurting those folks, like nah. Like you said, you're what if you were truly like boycotting Cracker Barrel, you're hurting the local folks that are just trying to make an honest living.
Dude, for fiscal year 2024, Cracker Barrel CEO, you just mentioned her, Julie Massino, included a base salary, annual bonus opportunity, and a long-term equity award. In total, her compensation was $6.68 million for 2024.
Yeah. I think she's okay.
She's gonna be fucking fine. Like her employment contract, which sets a base salary of $1 million.
Okay. Right,
which is about right for a CEO of a company that large. And then her annual bonus is a target of 125% of her base salary, so she'll get another $1.25 million in a bonus and cash bonus. And usually that's tied to the company's like fiscal performance, right? So, and then she gets long-term equity award, which is name and terms, it's stock and whatever else they give. And so she received about $4 million in stock, right? that $4 million in stock, whether she gets fired or not, I'm sure they have some kind of vesting schedule, right?
Yeah.
So she doesn't get all of it right away.
And the stock dropped and then just rebounded.
So she's fine. She's right back to the place she started. And also, even if she only has a quarter of that, let's say she has $1 million in stock, she's gonna be just fine. She made $1 million last year. She got $1 million cash bonus. She probably has $1 million invested stock, and that was just last year. She gets $4 million probably annually, depending on performance, and invests over time. So yeah, she's gonna be fine. You're hurting the fucking cook and your hostess and the like person working the register and all that shit. I wish corporations would give in to these people, and I wish these people were smart enough. Like, also, you're giving in to people who aren't even smart enough to realize that they're hurting the same people that they claim to be trying to defend, and then they're putting money back into the pockets of the people that they claim to hate. Like,
and do you really give a fuck?
No, they
about
don't care, bro. Most of these people are living in some basement in their mama's house somewhere and ain't got nothing better to do, or they're fucking losers who live behind a keyboard and who are on Facebook too much, and all their algorithm feeds them shit that just makes them angry, and so they're online with their Twitter fingers talking shit. No one with real problems in their life is online complaining about Cracker Barrel's logo. Like, no one with kids is doing this shit. You know what I'm saying?
I don't go there regularly, but we do go there. I don't know if I would have even noticed that they removed.
Oh, if they don't make the announcement, bro, I don't think I noticed.
Because the logo, the color scheme is still the same. The lettering of Cracker Barrel is still the same. It's just the barrel and the guy's missing. I don't know if I would have noticed.
Dude, if they said, hey, we changed our logo and just gave me the new one, I would be like, I don't even know what your old one looked like.
Or
bro.
if they just changed it and just not
just
told
didn't
me
say
nothing.
shit. Like, maybe that's the move. You just change it and don't say shit and then just roll it out there. I remember, what was it, like Jaguar did like this rebranding recently. It was like a year ago, the car brand. And then people were outraged over that, and they did like some new logo, and people hated that shit too. And then
was it like a different Jaguar?
Yeah, no, it's not a Jaguar anymore, basically, I think. And there was like some weird, I can't even remember now, but like people were pissed off about that. But I'm also going, nah, bro, stay the course. Like, yeah, it sucked. Like, even for me, I was like, I don't like it. But also,
so what?
So what? Like, I'm not your target. You know what I mean? Yeah. And would it have stopped me from buying your car?
I was going to say, from a fan of the car brand, I'm probably not worried about the fucking
so if
logo.
I'm a fan of Cracker Barrel, right? Like, I'm like,
I'm not worried about your logo, bro.
I'm not worried about your logo, man.
Cook my pancakes and bacon and eggs.
Do your shit,
like you always do, and I'm gonna keep coming.
And sell me my old time candy that I can only get from you, and then I'm good. Yeah, I just fucking hate when people give in to people who have no life. Like, I hate it. But dude, going back to like what we were talking about before, like there was that mass shooting today. I think it was in Minnesota. It was a Catholic school in Minnesota. And last I heard, there were about 20 kids and 20 people total shot. 2 passed away, like an 8 and 10-year-olds, like young kids, man. And then
this is like a elementary school or middle school?
It's a Catholic school that runs from like K through 8.
Oh yeah, okay.
And so anyway,
that's how mine was,
dude. And it's funny, like we're just so numb to it now. We're just like, oh, another one, right? And like the age of the kids is fucking heartbreaking. Like the obviously like it's being looked at as like a hate crime now because it's a Catholic school. And
so give me the story. Like who is it? Who did it?
So I think it's a former student. I'm gonna look up so I get the facts right. I don't want to say the name of the person.
Did they get diddled?
Maybe, but that's kind of my point. I guess, dude, It's I think whenever these school shootings happen, right, like and I'm guilty of this, is like the discourse immediately goes to, we need to do something about it. We need to ban guns, right? And I'm not a ban guns person. Like I'm pro gun or whatever. I am of the belief that you should make it harder to have a gun, but I'm not necessarily a ban gun person, right? But obviously we know we can't have that conversation for whatever fucking reason, right? And then the conversation becomes, these are very mentally unstable people and they're mentally ill and yada. And the conversation for a long time was around mental health and blah. Also, we don't do anything about that, right? And so then the other part of me thought, like, whenever I see a school shooting or a mass shooting, right, I can almost always go, oh, they're white. Oh, is it a mass shooting? They're probably 33 to 36. Is it a school shooting? They're probably 16 to 17. And it's a white dude. Right, and it's gonna be a white dude who was like diddled, or it's a white dude who got, who comes from a low income house, or who was abused at home, who was beat, who has a traumatic scenario, who suffers from some kind of mental illness.
And then who goes in school, he's a weird kid, he gets bullied.
Right, all this shit. And so I go, okay, we can't have the conversation about guns. we clearly don't give a shit about mental health and all that stuff. Like in terms of like from a policy perspective, I should say, right? Like we care now as a society about mental health because it's become like the buzzword and everyone wants to do the whole work on themselves and blah, blah, blah. And we go to therapy and that's great. But in reality, from a policymaker perspective, we haven't really made a lot of changes. And so then I go, okay, so then what are we doing to fix the, like this goes to the shit you were saying before with the school stuff. It's like, what are we doing to invest in the community? Like if these guys, and listen, I'm saying this shit anecdotally and I should probably just pull up facts on school shooters and like mass shooters. Like, what are we doing then to go like almost all of these guys, you can go back to, there's a certain MO. I know they'll say that like every situation is different, all these, and you can't really pinpoint, you know, like the same way you can't pinpoint like serial killers all are motivated by different things. But in reality, serial killers all have like there's like almost like subcategories of them and they all fit into a box. Yeah, depending on what their thing was, right? Like they hated women, they hate authority, they hate, you know, wherever they fit in, you know, like is where their thing goes. I think you could do the same thing with these mass shooters, and then it goes, okay, so then what are we doing to solve the underlying problem so we don't have this? All right, so we can't talk about guns. Then what are we doing about then the kid who does get picked on because he's abused at home, and the teacher has filed a lot of complaints and has said like, hey, this kid comes to school every day and maybe he's not bathed right because his parents are abusing him, and so the kids are making fun of him because he stinks, or the kids are making fun of him because he's, you know, doesn't have the latest clothes and his clothes has holes in it, and maybe his family's poor, but maybe also his family doesn't give a shit about him, and he's being diddled by an uncle, and he's, you know, like whatever. It's like, what are we doing about those underlying issues, and why aren't those the conversations we're having at this point in time? Like, if we can't touch everything else because our political discourse is too wrapped up in that, then let's shift the conversation elsewhere. Like, let's go look at these guys and then go, hey, all of these guys have these things in common. What are we doing to tackle then now the root cause of these?
No, I agree, because it's like even if you took away the guns, if somebody wants to hurt a lot of people, they'll find another way.
Yeah.
Whether it's carrying around with a big knife, whether it's finding some chemicals to put together to create some like homemade bomb. Like there's other ways to sort of like hurt a lot of people.
Yeah, they're gonna get it done.
Yeah, they're gonna get it done anyway. Yes, maybe there's gun. Would you argue? You could argue that guns perhaps make it easier, but getting rid of them is not really the solution.
And I don't necessarily think you get rid of guns. I definitely think
but I think to your point, it's like, again, it's kind of like going back to the deploying the National Guard. It's like, all right, so that's fine. Okay, so maybe you reduce crime a little bit, but what are you doing about the crime? And in this case, what are you doing about? We kind of know what this demographic is of these sort of like these mass shootings. Like who is, you know, who's the ones that are doing it? What are the commonalities amongst these folks? And then what are you doing about that? And which the answer is nothing.
Dude, and I would even use the whole National Guard argument in this, where it's to say, I don't know how many people are in the National Guard that went to DC. Would you say thousands, hundreds?
I don't know.
Let's say it's a few hundred. If you put 2 National Guards at every school in DC, how many schools are in DC? It can't be 100, right?
I wouldn't know.
So let's say there's 50 schools in DC. I'm just gonna pick a number, like I might be stupid, but let's say there's 50 schools and you put 2 National Guards, that's 100. That's way more than we probably deployed into the streets of DC, right? And you just go, hey, from now on, fucking every school has 2 military personnel, or 1. Who just, like, because I know, like in where we live in Orlando specifically, every school has what they call a resource officer, and it's a cop, and they just hang at the school, and you know, and sort of they're there to protect the school, right? And that's their full time. You see the same cop every single day if you go to your kid's school here, and the elementary school that my kids went to, and my son went to for the bulk of his time, was the resource officer there happened to be someone I went to high school with. And nice. So we had a chance to speak with him a couple times and all that. And I remember he would stand out there with like a giant rifle, and he would just pace, you know, when you were dropping your kids off in the morning, he'd be at the drop-off line with a big-ass rifle just pacing the car line. And he'd say hi, and all the kids would say good morning, and da-da-da. And I remember talking to him one day, and he was just like, it's kind of a presence thing.
Yeah, that's all it is.
That's all it is. Yep. It's like, I just kind of want to remind people that I got it. You know, and then I won't get too into, like, you know, he was kind of taking me through the like, how they basically have to plan, obviously, for a shooter and all that, and how they have, like, points in the school where there's weapons hidden and yada yada, you know, and there's rooms for him to like do surveillance and do like all kinds of shit, and it's like designed basically for him to respond to an attack. And it's just like, it's insane, but it's like, okay, that's where we are. Then do more of that. Like if you have the money and the resources to deploy the National Guard to go fix up the streets in DC, then surely you can put 1, 2, 3 military personnel in every school in the United States, right?
Yeah.
Do you and then you do that, and then you go, then we go find out these root causes, and then it's like, hey, you know what? We're gonna stick therapists in every school, or several per district, and we're gonna target these kids who have these complaints, whose teachers do identify something, who like can you just spend money on that and then go, let's get these kids help, let's make our foster system better to take in some of these kids and place them in. I don't know the answer, but what I do know is I feel like there isn't anything being done, is we're kind of just like going along with it. And like as a parent, it fucking sucks, dude, every time you see one of these where you're just like, man, I'm so numb to it. But then also my kid comes in and is like, oh, we did a active school, shooter drill today. We're hiding under a table for 30 minutes. And you're just like, that's fucking weird. You should be, learning algebra 1, not hiding under your
I
desk.
expected a fire drill.
Yeah, right. It's
bizarre. I think when I was in high school, when I was really young, it was the fire drill. By the time I got into high school, we were doing people were calling bomb threats.
Oh yeah,
to the school, and so we would do sort of drills for like I don't even need drills. I don't even know we did drills for that, man. I'm pretty sure when it was a bomb threat, they just escorted everybody like sort of like off or to the edge of campus, essentially.
I think we should do, man, is I think we should. This is why I'd never fucking be in office, because I would get assassinated probably a weekend. I think that like we should, for every single politician, no matter the level of office they stay, anytime they make a public appearance, anytime they're in a commercial, anytime they're speaking, anytime they're whatever, like, on TV where they'll show like whoever's giving a speech or whatever, I think there should be, like the ticker on ESPN that goes across the bottom, and I think we should just show their voting record, where they voted on every issue. I think, and then we should show who is their biggest donor, and we should show what lobby groups they worked with. And I think we should have like almost like the baseball card for the politician. And I know you can go and look this up, but like people have to do too much homework to it. I think just make it accessible to the average person, because people are too lazy. I go, no, put it in my face. Tell me, like, fucking if Ted Cruz or, AOC are on the screen right now on whatever thing, or you're about to see a commercial, give me the baseball card stats. Here's that they voted on these things. Here's who's their major donors. Because now immediately I can go, if you start being pro, fucking some kind of medical thing, I could be like, oh yeah, Pfizer fucking is your biggest donor. No wonder you're. And now you have to, I think, now I know what sort of your driver, what your motivator is. And I think as a voter, you sort of like get a chance to hold these people accountable more. I also think, and I know we talked about this on here before, there has to be term limits for every fucking, like, I think, level in politics. Like, has to be a rotating sort of. And I know the argument will be is like, you're not going to get people to stay there. You're not going to get a career. You're not going to get the best people out of go to. But maybe you don't. Maybe it is truly a public servant job, and maybe
like jury duty.
And maybe the answer is like, hey, you give them a runway so that when they do leave politics, they have time to find a job or whatever. Maybe it's like a fucking 6-month, 12-month plan of like, hey, we're going to pay for you for this, and then you can transition into the civilian world. But this is truly meant to be a public servant job. I think if you're a fucking a congressman who makes $150,000 a year, and you've been a congressman for 5 years, and now suddenly you're making $10 million a year, we should probably fucking wonder why now you make $10 million a year when you make, what I mean?
Your salary hasn't gone up nearly that much.
Exactly. And so I think shit like that.
But dude, to your point of the whole baseball card thing when you're on there, I think even that it would be flawed, because depending on what station was showing them, is that would dictate what you would see.
For sure. But I think what you do is, like, to combat that, I think what you almost would have to do is we have to decide what it is that we're going to show. And it would be like, hey, last 12 months, all of it, everywhere you voted on these policies. And then it would go, then for your donors, your top 10 at all time, in order. Your number 1 donor was Pfizer. Your number 2 donor was, whatever, the NRA. Your number 3, donor was Disney. Whatever. Like, I want to see.
You'd have to agree on what it is.
So that, to your point, so that it shows up for everyone.
Yeah.
But I think
because
we
talked about all of them. I don't know, it was last week or the week prior, man, where it's just like, it doesn't matter what the numbers are. You can tell whatever story you want.
Yeah, I think on your bio on your social media, if it's the official social media of @POTUS in the United States, I should see where you voted on everything. I should see what you stand for, where your policy things are. I think it should be like that for every senator, every congressman. Like, if I go to your page, the first things I should see. And again, for some people, you're gonna go on there and you're gonna go, oh, I like this guy. This is exactly where I would have voted. Like, it plays. I think you can play both sides of the coin. It's like, oh, this person stands for what I stand for, or I can hold you accountable to, like, when you start talking and I think you're full of shit, I go, I think you're full of shit, and here's why. I think what it does is adds a level of transparency to the less sophisticated voter who isn't going to go online, who is just going to watch Fox or is going to watch CNN, and they're just going to take that information instead of going online to actually do the homework, because it's, like, our 70-something-year-old parents or grandparents aren't going online to go figure out which way your senator voted, right? But I think if you just put it in their face every time there's a commercial, hey, here's this person sit, it's undeniable, it's theirs, but you can't miss it. And I think, I don't know. I feel like there's a way you have to tag this to people so that we
they
can
would find a way to
hold them
twist
accountable.
it, bro.
Oh, I'm sure, like everything, we can't have nice things.
We just
right?
can't have
everything.
nice shit.
But I do think that, like, you have to sort of force a way to change some behavior, or I go, it doesn't change people's voting behaviors and habits at all. And that's okay too, because I think then we know, hey, we all really don't give a fuck.
Care.
We don't care. And I think a lot of us don't. It's like, we're just voting for you because we like you, or we like your last name, or you just, you play for the team that we like, or whatever, like, that's why we're voting. Like, we actually don't give a shit about what you did with all this other stuff. Yeah. But I think, I don't know, man. I think a lot of these things where again, I go back to the school shooting shit, is like, there's just so numb to it now. You feel sad, but then I looked at the thing today and I'm like, I saw an 8 and 10-year-old and I'm like, fuck, dude, like, an 8 and 10-year-old is crazy. And then I'm like, I don't even want to be fake outrage anymore, because I don't want to be like, oh, what are we doing? Because it's not, it's like what we were saying before. It doesn't matter. And not that it doesn't matter. Those 8-year-olds don't matter. It's the what we have to say about it doesn't matter. The shit we're talking online doesn't matter. You go on Facebook and whine about it. It doesn't matter. You go on there and have your political rants or whatever. It doesn't matter. You give me your thoughts and prayers and all whatever bullshit people want to post, and Minnesota strong and whatever about. Nah, shit fucking matters, bro. Like, it just, because we're never going to follow it up with action.
Weren't we at Minnesota strong when George Floyd got killed?
Yeah, wasn't that?
I mean, wasn't that?
I was about to say something fucking crazy, but
wasn't that there?
You might be right.
I'm pretty sure,
it was there.
Pretty
it was
sure
there.
It was in Minnesota.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I just go back to, like, we're just gonna be fake outrage about shit. At least give us the actual facts and tell us how we're being fucked. You know what I mean? Like, and let our hypocrisy at least be sort of transparent, if you will, to everyone involved, and just their hypocrisy. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen, bro.
No, of course not. I tell you, I'd be assassinated.
Well, let me tell you about. Listen, man. When let me tell you about somebody who did get bullied when they were younger.
Okay.
And is now very famous. Lil Nas X.
Oh shit. Not where I thought you were going with that.
Lil Nas X was in the news this past week.
Okay.
Because he was out in what is it, Studio City neighborhood, which I think is in California.
Yeah, California. Yep.
Right. He was out there damn near naked. There's this video of him, like, walking just with some drawers on and maybe some boots. And
but he had drawers, so what's the problem?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of saw that. It said he was naked, but the video that I saw, he wasn't naked.
So how high was Lil Nas X? I'm gonna assume that there was some kind of illicit substance involved, more than alcohol, because alcohol won't make you take your clothes off in public, at least for most of us.
Yeah, no. So, but the authorities said that when he was confronted, that he charged at the officers.
Oh shit! And he's alive?
Yeah, and see, so he was arrested. I'm reading off it a little bit. He was arrested, initially taken to the hospital for suspected overdose. Later booked on suspicion of misdemeanor. Charges were later elevated to 4 felonies, including 3 counts of battery with injury on a police officer and 1 count of resisting an executive officer.
Yo, win for the police force in California or LA, because, like, if y'all want to say that they're racist and or homophobic, bro.
Not no more.
Not no more.
They reformed.
They could have they could have used either or to pull the trigger on Lil Nas X, and we would have been all right with it, bro. And they didn't do either, man. Shout out to them. First off.
If that was 1992, he would have got beat the hell.
Yeah. to join a certain king in fuck, dude. Or you know what it made me think of? I don't know why. Immediately was Martin. Remember when Martin Lawrence in like late '90s, maybe
Oh,
early
when he went
2000s,
crazy?
he went ape shit.
Oh,
And
yeah,
same
yeah,
thing. He
yeah,
was in the
yeah,
middle
yeah.
of the street in California, just fucking ducking out of the way, like
Yeah.
bobbing and weaving through cars and running the highway in the middle of the median. I think he was naked too, or taking clothes off.
Did you see the comedy special that he did after
Oh
that?
yeah, it was one of my favorite comedy
Oh, it's
specials
awesome.
growing up.
He was just like, man, and then he was like, nah, I was
Yeah,
fucked up.
he's like, they gonna say I was high just because I was running the street naked and ducking through cars. And he goes, I was just playing with y'all. I was fucked up. It's called Run Tell That.
That's the one.
what it
That's
is.
the
Run
one.
Tell. That was one of my favorite comedy specials.
And that
a
one
lot of
came
it
out
had
in
to do with him
theaters.
being honest. Yeah. It
Yeah,
was played in
yeah,
the
I
movie theater.
remember
And it was the honesty behind that I loved. I remember being like, you know, him doing that joke, and he goes like, I was just playing with y'all. I was higher than the motherfucker. And then he goes in, and you're like, oh shit, man. Like that was like the first time I saw someone take something so public and be like, yeah, and then make fun of themselves and be able to be like the punchlines, you know, to his own shit. But that was one of my favorite. It came out when I was in high school. One of my favorite comedy specials ever, man. But yeah, fucking little damn. This kid has been. Do you think this is like a legit issue? Do you think it's a like? Because I know our first inclination with a lot of these kids will be like, yo, what publicity ploy is he pulling?
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, I haven't, to be honest, man, I haven't heard like I don't really follow him. The guy makes catchy music, and then you know every now and then I'll hear something, but I don't know if I don't know if he got a new album out. I don't know. Again, I don't know anything about him. I do know, like I said, I do know the guy makes catchy music.
Yeah.
And I don't really give a shit.
Kids
You know,
has made one of the
you wanna
biggest
do
songs of the last fucking 5-10 years.
and for real, bro, like for me, you want to do your drugs, bro. Like as long as you're not hurting nobody, man, I don't care, bro. Do whatever you want.
Yo, man, it's funny, man. I thought that we were gonna see a little more history from the gay community this week. Lil Nas X could have been it, but instead, we're gonna see it in the NFL. Because for the first time ever, we're gonna see an NFL player have to change his last name when he gets married.
Yeah. I was like, where are you going with this?
So Travis Swift.
Jack Swift.
It's gonna be really weird seeing his last name on the back of the jersey Swift. But I was like, yo, man, shout out to Travis. Because I thought for sure it was gonna be a gay player first. But I was like, yo, is this the first time we're gonna see an NFL player have to change his
those
last
on and
name?
out in the league.
He has to change his name, right?
They
It can't
tried
be
that
her.
already.
Yeah. It can't be Taylor Kelsey now, right? It has to be Travis Swift, right?
I would imagine, to be honest, none of them changed their name.
Yeah, none of. Do you think they keep it like legally, or she just has an artist name?
She's
Yeah.
gonna be Taylor Swift
I
forever.
think he has to change it, bro. I think he has to.
Dude, if he so for those of you who have not seen, I'm sure it's freaking everybody. By the time this thing comes out, especially, everybody has seen Travis Kelsey, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs, got engaged to Taylor Swift to yesterday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think they had
we're
engaged like
recording
weeks
on a
ago,
Wednesday,
but they mentioned it or
but
they dropped it yesterday. Yeah.
What's the funniest shit about that? I'm watching The Herd, which is a sports show on FS1, and it's breaking news on a sports show.
Yeah, I got a breaking news alert on my phone.
Yeah, was it from who? From like was it ESPN?
Yeah, ESPN.
Yeah,
Breaking
so it's
news.
crazy. Like the impact that she has had. But good for them, good for him, good for her.
Yeah.
Now, what I was thinking of was like, if Kansas City wins a Super Bowl this year, right?
Yeah.
If you're Travis Kelsey, do you go, good enough? He'll have that. That'll be his what? His fourth ring. He's still young enough where he's not gonna have CTE.
Yeah.
Probably. And then he's also, probably, hopefully has done well with his money.
Yeah.
And is now married to a superstar who, again, I don't know how long she'll do what she's doing.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to.
But just have to. That's the point, right? Like, do you just go, okay, and that's good. I'm good.
I think he's on a year by year kind of basis now anyway. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if he retired no matter what after this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he should change his last name, though. I was going back to that because I was thinking if you're her and you sit there and you have this conversation, you got to go, Travis, like
I'm the guy.
No, well, there's 1,000 of you. There's only one of me. You know, there's 1,000 millionaire athletes out there. Should be like, there's one Taylor Swift, so you're not Travis. That's how that conversation is gonna go.
Yo, is there? And I don't know. I wonder if there's been cases where the guy has taken the woman's last name.
Oh yeah. There's definitely has been.
I mean, I'm sure there has been.
I'm sure it has. Yeah.
I haven't heard any.
Yeah, no, there. I'm almost positive. Bro, I'm almost positive there is a pro athlete or someone famous who has done it before.
Yeah,
I'm almost positive. I don't.
And what do you remember? What the reason was that you've seen?
I think I've seen people from as little as like, yo, we flipped a coin on it, to like, oh, she asked, and whatever, and then he just did. Or who's to say that it should be?
How bad do you have to hate your family if you're a guy?
Oh man,
how bad do they hate your family?
Right, for them not to fuck, man. Also,
because you're getting fucked with forever.
Dude, going to what you were saying before, if you got married to her and she didn't change her last name, are you pissed? Are you annoyed? Does that bother you?
If she's Taylor Swift, no. And here's why. I just go, that name is sort of synonymous with the entertainer.
Well, the brand, right? But she can still go by it, right? But if your legal last name is still Swift, right, and you're Travis Kelce, and you're like, hey man, like you can go by that as your artist name, but like I want my wife to have my last name. Like, does that bother you?
I don't. For me personally, no.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious how that. Cause you're right. Like, I wonder how that conversation goes. Like, because if you're her, you're right. Like, the Swift is my entity. It's my brand. It's like
right. You can't change it at this point.
Yeah. Like,
at least for that.
Yeah. When we get divorced later on, I don't want to have to go through the hassle of being the artist formerly known as Kelsey. So it's like, yeah.
Dude, what's the divorce rate? Isn't it like 60%?
So it's like 60 something percent,
like
but then what they say is like, what the math now doesn't cover is they say the people that stay together for kids, the people that stay together for financial reasons because they can't afford to like live on their own. The people, so they're saying if the divorce rate really reflected like happiness in a marriage,
like 70%?
It would be over 75. I think is what the statistics are. It would be over 3 and 4 marriages would end in divorce if people weren't staying together for the kids, if people weren't staying together for financial reasons or societal pressures or whatever it is. It's like truly happy marriages. It's like 3 out of 4 fail.
Yeah,
minimum. So so the likelihood, I wasn't knocking their relationship, I was just saying statistically speaking. Now, when these guys will have trouble is, I'm glad you brought up the retirement thing. It's when he, like you said, he's probably got a year or two, left that he wants to play. He could probably play till he's 40, right? He keeps himself in decent enough shape, or 30.
Yeah, but
he probably play 5 more years, but probably not, right? And so then you go, if you're her, she's in her early 30s, she's an entertainer, she's got like 10, 15 years of prime left in front of her to be an entertainer and tour stadiums. At some point in time, if you're him, you're like, I want to have kids and I want to settle down and I want to start a family and I want to do that. Like, I'd be curious to see how this, and I'm going to assume these guys have had this conversation, right? Like, you don't marry someone.
I was going to say, you don't marry somebody without having
without having this conversation.
At that age.
Yeah, like I'm sure he knows what her plan is, right?
Right?
Yeah, right. I'm sure he knows the plan. Maybe she's like, yo, I want to keep doing this till I can't anymore, which should be, right? Bro, you can't tour stadiums and all this other shit, right, for a very long time and ride this wave of popularity you have, right? Like, but she can go have kids at 40, right? So if she wants to, if maybe the conversation has been like, hey, I want to do this for like 8 more years, right? And we'll settle down and have family and we'll have kids or whatever then. And maybe he's like, cool, that's perfect. I'll be, 40 something also, like whatever works. I would assume those conversations have already happened. But what I can also see is like the level of insecurity that would come from bro, if you've been a football player your whole life, and I think, maybe what helps him a little bit, he's got the podcast and all that stuff now, and he's built his brand.
But he has other things.
But if you're just sitting around at home and you're like, I don't have practice goals on games on this shit, you're doing rehearsals, now you're on tour for 6-7 months at a time, and now you kind of, your sense of purpose is lost in there. I feel like that's where like these beefs come from. But I would assume that, again, these are smart people. I think she has managed her career brilliantly in terms of like the people she surrounds herself with. So I'm sure like, there's been conversation, there's people advising them on that, but so I'm curious to see. Like, I wish him the best of luck, but I'm curious to see like how this all sort of like plays out. But
here's the other thing, man. I think that when he was trying to, from what I heard, when he was kind of interested in her, I think he went to a concert, sort of tried to meet her, didn't or couldn't, And then he went on this podcast and was just like, yo, like, I'm interested. I want to like, and somebody saw that and then got in touch with her. And then they started, you know, then they met, and then everything's, you know, it's history. But I thought it was a good example of like, yo, shoot your shot. Right? Like it doesn't like nobody's out of your league.
No, you just shoot. Dude, also, I would say shout out to him for not being embarrassed to say that publicly on a podcast of like, hey, I went there, I wanted to try to talk to her and shit, anything. And then publicly being like, yo, I want to date you. Like, no bullshit, no thing. Like, yo, I got a crush on you. Like, I want to get to know you. I want to get to know you. Yeah. Like to put yourself out there as a guy. And his thing, because she could have been like, ew.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like now he's the guy who like, bro, remember the time he shot a shot at Taylor Swift in public? And then, you know, like this could have easily been that. So like, kudos to him for taking his shot at that. And then, you know, it's also cool that like it worked out, right? Like dude shot a shot, like you said, and then it worked out. I was just having this conversation with my son. You know, he just started middle school, and he was telling me that a friend of his has this like big crush on this girl, but he's like too nervous to talk to her.
Yeah.
And he says he's like been trying to like hype him up to go like talk to this girl. And he's like, yeah, I don't know why like he's so nervous to talk to this girl. I don't know why like he just won't do it. Like I keep telling him, but he just like doesn't get it. He's like, I understand how you could be like nervous to talk to somebody and all that. I was like, well, we don't have that problem because we're good looking. Like your genetics help. But I'm like, see, you don't think that way because you don't think about rejection because you're good looking. But I'm like, your friend's probably ugly. Anyway, so he was like,
meanwhile, he's in that background going, motherfucker is kind of ugly, isn't he?
He did. But then, you know, my son's like, I am handsome. You know, like he's like talking to himself, you know. But it was funny, man, because I was like led into this conversation of like we're walking home from school, and it's just like, man, dude, you're gonna find that there's gonna be so much things that you won't do because of fear of rejection or fear of judgment or fear of like thing. And it's like you said, if he just goes to that girl and says like, hey, I like you, I want to get to know you, you know, whatever. I don't know what fucking 12-year-olds are doing these days, but whatever it is, right? And I go, she's either gonna say yes, and then cool, we'll have a buddy to hang out with or whatever, and he gets to know her, or she'll say no. And his life tomorrow won't change at all. He'll be a little bit hurt, you know, his ego will take a little bruise there. And then no one will remember that happened, you know, 2 days later.
And she could say yes, and then he actually gets to know her, and then goes, "Oh, this is not what I thought."
Not what I thought. Right? Yeah. Like there's only upside. And then I go, how? You know, like my point to him was just like, dude, don't let fear of like rejection or fear of like judgment keep you from doing anything. Not even just talking to a girl. I'm like, just anything. Like, don't like just. If you want to go try something, like don't not do it because of, you know, because like obviously it's middle school, right? So there's like the whole I want to look cool. I don't, you know, like I want to wear this. I don't want to play this instrument. I don't want to take this class.
Going into middle school is like a whole nother realm, man.
I forgot, you know, going with my daughter. I remember like being like, yo, who are you? Like the shift in them.
Shift, yeah, right.
And then with a boy, I forget too, especially with a boy, man. It's now like middle school. It's like now you're back to the bottom of sort of like the hierarchy, right? Yep. So now you're dealing with eighth graders who look like fucking grown-ups now, right? And then, you know, and then you're like, you're not quite an adult, but we don't treat you like a kid anymore, but we don't treat you like an adult. And then your body's going through all these changes, and then like it's a really awkward age, man. But I was trying to instill to him, I'm like, hey man, there's gonna be a lot of weird shit that happens here as a sixth grader and seventh grader and all that stuff, and just like whatever you want to do, whatever you want to try, and you're thinking like I don't want to do this because you're afraid of like some like just. Trust me, let it go. Because when you have this conversation with yourself 10 years from now, you're going to wish you did. Yeah. Like you're going to be 25 one day, 30, 35, 40. And you know what's the last thing you're going to remember? Is the girl you walked by in the hallway that you didn't talk to. And she rejected you. You're not going to remember that. I was like, you may remember being like, I wonder what would have happened if I talked to her or whatever. I'm like, so it's such a small part of your life. Like the very few things turn into something, right? Go talk to her. I like the instrument you wanted to play, but you were afraid to look like a dork. I'm like, go play. Maybe it turns into
the worst thing is the regret.
Yeah, it's like there's nursing homes are full of people with regret. None of them are full of people who wish they hadn't asked someone out or hadn't tried this or hadn't done that. Most of them are regretting not having done something, You know what I mean? Like, unless it's something fucking super serious.
Absolutely.
But like,
All right, man, let's get out of here. On that, tell them where they can find us.
Dude, at the Carbon Football Podcast, you caught me.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
Damn it. At the Carbon Football Podcast. On YouTube, we're back this week, baby. At the Carbon Football Podcast on X, on Instagram, at Carbon FB Pod on on X, and then at Cover Photo Podcast on TikTok, and then all your favorite audio platforms: Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, your smart devices, your Alexas, your Google Homes, JioSaavn, Ghana, TuneIn, Podchaser, Pocket Cast, Radiocast, all of it, Deezer. Just if it's out there, if it exists, we're on there. So go out there and find us, follow, hit subscribe, hit like, share with your friends, leave us a review, do all of it, man. We appreciate the support for sure.
And as always, we appreciate you guys, and we will see you next week.
See you next week.
Peace.
Peace.